You're listening to the Chatter Squadron Weekly News Roundup. Listen every Tuesday to stay current on the latest Star Wars news. Hello, and welcome to the Weekly News Roundup. I am Mike Calhoun, joined by my co-host Tyler Bucks and Johnny Trowbridge.
Bonjour.
Hello. We have some announcements to make before we get to the news because we really want to talk about that Star Wars parka.
That specifically.
So the holidays are coming up, guys. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Have a great time doing that. The only issue is we want to be doing that as well. So we're going to be taking 2 weeks off. So we have this week's weekly news roundup today, and then on Thursday we have fun and villainy, and then we're going to take 2 weeks off and come back January 1st. January 1st.
The new year.
Right. So in that time, go ahead and listen to all of our back catalog if you haven't listened to them. We have a lot of episodes that you can raffle through. And while you're doing that as well, raffle them.
I won this episode, episode 40.
Wow.
I guess I only
whatever
have to
that
listen
Maybe
to that
riffle
one.
through.
I like to say rifle.
I like to rifle through.
I'm going to rifle through these.
But while you
Take your pick.
While you're doing that, give us a 5-star rating or review on iTunes. You could be on the tiny chairs. You can be the tiny king / queen of the tiny chair of tiny victories, which is on our set. But a new way you can get on there, a new way you can sit on this throne is by finding us on YouTube and commenting on one of our videos. You could also be on this prestigious throne.
As long as what you say is clever, as according to us. So listen to every single episode we've ever released, and then determine what we would find clever, and then put it in the comments, and then maybe then you'll be the king or queen of the tiny chair of tiny victories.
There will be a test
There'll be a written test
in the mail.
Right, we're going to be gone
We'll be
we're going to be gone for 2 weeks, and in that time, you need to study. We sent out a packet.
Yeah.
Be sure to go over that.
You can meet in the library and study with friends.
Yeah, you're allowed. You're allowed to do study groups.
Yep, Chatter Squadron meetup. We're going to go to the library and study.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we both know how much studying gets done at those.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what libraries? Nobody studies in libraries anymore.
My elbows.
Here's something I did study though. So yeah, go ahead, go do that.
What's our
stuff.
first news story of do those things while you've got us plugged in. What's our very first news story?
Well, let me tell you about this news story because it's very important.
Okay.
It's groundbreaking stuff that's been going on in
Tell
the
us
Star
about
Wars community. You guys know how it's kind of cold here in Ohio.
Oh, it sure is cold here in Ohio.
You know how it's cold other places?
No.
Yeah, this time of year.
No, okay, Johnny. Sometimes when the year goes around,
Yeah.
it gets colder.
Mm.
Okay, I'll talk to you more about it later.
Yeah.
Do you guys know Columbia? Not the country, the company.
The people that make jackets.
Oh,
Yes.
Christopher Columbia.
Yes,
That's him.
our Lord and Savior.
CEO.
Okay.
CEO.
Yeah. Oh gosh. All right. So Columbia, they released a crew parka from The Empire Strikes Back. We talked about this on our Empire Strikes Back documentary episode. How they were wearing these awesome coats,
These bright blue.
TV, not TV safe, bright blue with these orange stripes and a big fur. If you remember in that episode, we were talking about the fact that they were like freezing to death while trying to shoot these.
They were in like the frozen tundra.
So apparently,
Hoth.
Columbia they did remake this jacket, and you were able to buy it if you bought it in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
They were
I followed the link actually when
Me
this
too.
news story broke.
I was
and
watching-
like, they're still available. Yeah.
right $500,
$500.
and now people are selling them for upwards of like $1,500 on eBay.
Of course.
Come on. That's so
just
cheap.
These could have been 25,000.
Hike up those prices.
I loved seeing the crew in that mini doc wearing all of them because they've got the Empire Strikes Back logo, original patch.
And they got like a little Darth Vader logo on it too.
Which is like art that I've not seen on a lot of things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Here's what they said. The coat features a waterproof shell that's breathable, but seam sealed at critical points to keep out the elements.
Oh yeah, Columbia.
You can be nerdy, but this is like a different subsect of nerd This is
Classy
like
nerd.
this. Yeah, this is like
Classy
you know. I still call episode 6 Blue Harvest. Like you're that type of like
Oh, boy.
so specific. And if I see somebody wearing this coat, I will be like, wow. Number one, I'm gonna steal it from you. You can buy it off of eBay in a couple of hours. But number two, that's pretty cool. It's different than just wearing a random Star Wars form of memorabilia.
form of memorabilia. I agree. The thing is now, though, people like us, we're so aware of it, and we're like, oh, we're jealous. We're gonna see it, and instead of going up and be like, oh my gosh,
Right.
where did you get this, and want to know everything about it, we kind of already know everything
yeah.
about it.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, if I see it on the street, I'm gonna get a selfie with that person. I'm gonna try,
Right.
unless it's someone that or they run away from
Unless
me.
it's like Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber,
He would. You
I
know
don't
what?
want a picture with Justin Bieber.
no way.
He
Take
wants a-
off the parka.
He
I'm
wants
gonna-
a picture of what the heck?
I want to just wear it.
Oh, okay.
I want to wear the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
take it
got
off.
it.
I want a
Okay.
picture of it with me.
Next news story. Calhoun, this is something that you are probably very interested in. THRAWN treason. Is treason then?
I'm very interested.
Oh
in
my
this
gosh.
book.
THRAWN is here.
He's here in our ear.
Now,
phones.
THRAWN, how do you feel about another one of your stories being released, especially by Timothy Zahn writing this biography for you?
I'm excited to learn about all the unknown things.
Us too, THRAWN. Us too.
Well, do we think it's going to be? There's going to be more than 3? Do we think it's going to be stuck to a trilogy? What do we? What do we?
Well,
think?
I don't know what time period this is leading up to, because apparently he's working on his project, which I don't want to give too many spoilers to, but he's working on a project, and then Krennic's project starts to overcome what he's working on. So the timeline might be edging really close to Rebels, which is kind of the end of his.
Yeah,
You know,
it's-
because they shoot off
yeah.
into hyperspace, and then maybe we learn more about him later.
Right.
But Rebels right now is the end of his story. So I don't know how close treason is going to come to that.
Good
Because
point.
if it's very close, then that is it for right now.
Gotcha.
Well, there
Actually,
is
that would be very tidy.
there is a picture of old Papa Palpatine on that
On the
cover.
cover, yeah.
So maybe it's a clash between them. Hence the treason.
Right.
That would be. We kind of know that there's going to be a little bit of a chess match, 3-dimensional chess match between the two of them.
Ooh.
Just
A little
incredible.
3D chess.
Dejeric match.
Oh,
or
the
4-dimensional chess. That's what I want to say, right? Because it's already 3-dimensional.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Chess is the 3-dimensional game.
Yeah. Chess is just 3-dimensional chess.
No, it's just that free game that would come on your computer, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
all chess was. Was
Like
just
3-dimensional pinball. You remember playing that?
Yeah, of course.
That was
And then
good.
you could tilt. You could shake.
You
the-
can shake the machine.
But no, apparently it is coming out next summer. Here's what the little blurb was. As THRAWN work. Oh, actually, THRAWN
Can I
should
read it?
probably read this,
Oh, I would love this.
which is right towards the bottom there.
As THRAWN works to secure his place in the Imperial hierarchy, his former protege, Eli Vanto, returns with a dire warning about THRAWN's homeworld. THRAWN's mastery of strategy must guide him through an impossible choice: duty to the Chiss ascendancy, or fealty to the empire he has sworn to serve, even if the right choice means committing treason.
I like that a lot. I love.
We knew this was coming to a T.
I
When
love-
he was sent by the Chiss
Right.
to infiltrate. I mean, that's just like any double agent.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that they face. But now that we're seeing it with one of the greatest characters in the Star Wars saga, it's going to be extra
really gotta work on that
interesting.
cough.
Yeah, I do need to, go get some meds.
I love.
Yes.
I love Eli Vanto.
I do love Eli Vanto.
He's just have a southern accent.
Yeah, I mean he was.
kinda does.
He's often kind of the
He's a country boy.
the outer regions of known space, and he's able to read THRAWN's language. That's why they needed him.
He's also just a clever strategist, according to THRAWN.
But no one else saw that. They just saw me as someone from off in the boondocks. But Mr. Thrawn, he happened to find something nice in me.
Mr. THRAWN.
I'm actually very excited. I'll freely admit that I haven't read the second book yet. And a lot of people haven't yet because they're like preparing reviews. And
I have
stuff.
it on hold.
Personalities.
Still.
Me too, yeah. I'm probably just going to buy it for myself. I can't wait any longer. But I just cannot wait. It's one of the best novels I read last year.
You know what I can't wait to do?
Go to this next news story.
Is tell you guys about Kevin Smith.
Oh, that lovable man.
Everybody's favorite weight cutting nerd.
And director. Well, he's not. Keep going. He's not everyone's favorite director.
Everybody's favorite director,
Everyone,
right?
the world's favorite director, Kevin
Right,
Smith.
Guys, everybody's favorite, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the collective yes.
Everybody in the world. So Kevin Smith was on Good Morning America. I have it as December 5th. If anyone needs to know, that's when he was there.
Great.
He talked about the fact that he's working on a new Jay and Silent Bob movie, but also that he was able to visit the set of Episode 9. He stated a couple things when he was, being interviewed about being there. But here are the three biggest things. He saw an actor, which he specified as someone he has seen in, the Star Wars films previously, give a career best performance in a scene that he saw being filmed that made him cry. So that's interesting.
He cries when the wind blows, though. I'll say that.
Right, but to me, okay, whatever you feel about Kevin Smith, he does know movies. He does.
Yeah.
Him crying doesn't really have anything to do with it. Him saying that it was a actor's career best performance, that's the real thing that I'm interested in.
Yeah, he knows performance.
And we know that it's Adam Driver because he's amazing.
I thought it
There's
was
so many options, though. We
It's
couldn't
true.
Billy D. Williams, man.
Oh, yeah. It made him cry because Billy was also crying. The set he visited was the largest set he's ever seen, which is another thing because he's been on the Force Awakens set before. So to come to this one and see an even bigger set, that's something for us to look forward to.
That makes me think that some of the battles are going to be like Lord of the Rings scale.
That's what I was thinking.
Remember the big skirmish that's going to happen.
Yeah,
at the end of
well,
it.
yeah, we from that on-set rumor.
Right.
But I think, obviously there's going to be a battle. And if Kevin Smith says that it's the biggest set he's been on ever, I don't think he was on the Lord of the Rings set, but if we could compare it to something that we've seen that we recognize, that's all I think
of when I think of big sets is the Lord of the Rings.
Right. Well, didn't the Lord of
Such
the
an
Rings, though,
undertaking.
use a lot of
miniatures.
but already
Deep
a lot of
miniatures.
things were already made. Like they used old buildings that already existed.
Well, that's what everyone does.
Right,
Yeah.
but
They-
not Star Wars doesn't always use old buildings.
Okay, when I'm thinking of old buildings, I think of a studio space.
Oh,
So you're talking about like actual structures that they didn't
built
change.
that they built for this thing. That's what I mean by the
They did that
biggest
too. With
set.
Lord of the, There's
Yeah.
a huge hill that they built an entire
There's-
town
yeah,
on
Edoras.
for
Yes.
for
It
Rohan.
was
Right.
crazy.
Right.
Now that's probably one of the biggest undertakings ever.
And they destroyed the whole thing.
They had to, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
They had to tear it down. Beautiful.
They should have left it.
I'm seeing it in my thoughts of it being a set that they constructed that's massive, that they're going to do a lot of panning around in for this battle or whatever.
Sure.
I don't know what it is, but I mean, once again, we're just kind of going off of Kevin Smith, who's known to inflate things. So I think the thing that we can take away from that quote is that there's big sets, and they're going to be using.
There will be a big set.
They're going to be using real sets and real things like that. I don't know if it's the biggest set of all time.
True.
Have we discussed on here Ireland's tourism, how it's like taken off since these movies?
No.
Oh,
'Cause
no.
a lot of the sets are taking place in like Ireland, and Ireland's having a tough time dealing because as soon as they mention this, also goes with Game of Thrones. As soon as they mention or show that these things were filmed here or whatever, the tourism goes through the roof.
Yeah.
For instance, where they filmed Helm's Deep, where they filmed what's the giant city, like King's Landing, in
In
for
Game of
Oh
Thrones.
yeah.
The town is some town I think in Spain, and it's they had to limit the amount of people coming through because the foot traffic was like destroying the roads.
Whoa.
There's just so many people. So I'm when I think about like all this stuff, like same thing for New Zealand. They have to like limit the amount of people going to like Hobbiton because everyone goes there.
Yeah.
And like there's Mount Doom. That's an actual like mountain there.
Yeah, where you could throw rings into.
There's
throw
a
your
chamber.
wedding rings in
Yeah.
yeah.
And the Eye of Sara,
The
Sara,
tower.
Barad-dûr.
it's
Yeah.
actually there.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
That's the craziest part.
They were just lucky that there happened to be a spire with a giant eye at the top of it,
But that
just already there.
Yeah, and
they
just filmed
cast it.
Yeah.
They were about to not cast it, which was crazy to think about. That it was this close to being passed over.
They were going to build their own. It would have been
Right.
a horrible mistake.
But that's a good point where I think about Tyler bringing up, oh, maybe they're using like I don't know how much they are using of like places because sometimes they do that. I know they did a lot of that for what was the one Rogue One. They had the Scarif was like largely like that. What place was that? I don't know, but it was filmed like on a location.
Right. Well, there was some.
Would have had to.
There were
yeah, for
some,
sure.
beaches, of course, but then there was like some railway place in Britain or whatever that was the place they were running through in the Imperial facility. It was a
I understand.
real place that they just kind of souped up a little bit as they were running through the corridors.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So you think that's Johnny? Back to your point about tourism being increased to just amounts that these countries can't handle. Do you think that's an internet thing? Do you think that's just a trend that will stick around?
It'll just keep going up.
I think so too. I mean, especially with people that make their livelihood off of like just tourism photography.
Mm-hmm.
Several accounts and mirror accounts just do this thing where they go places where scenes were filmed,
Yeah.
take pictures just so they can put them on their social media accounts. And there's a bunch of copycat accounts that do that. So I would agree, like just the fact that knowledge is known and instant now because of the internet. It causes these sorts of problems. What do you think? Do you think they'll ever come up with a solution besides limiting tourism?
Maybe concealing. Well, here's the thing: it's always been a plus for. Well, it has been historically for anybody if you filmed like in some more sort of location. It's just it makes tourism go through the roof, and that's tons of money.
Yeah.
I mean, but it is getting to like a problem in some areas. So maybe it'll be more concealment of like where this is filmed.
Yeah.
Where usually
A little bit more vague.
Yeah, and usually they're pretty readily available. It's in the credits or something like that.
Maybe someday we'll see some sort of like regulation of like Hollywood. Like Hollywood can't reveal their locations in the credits, and they have to like reveal them later. Who knows? If it becomes a bad problem.
Well, this kind of goes. I'll jump ahead to a different story that we're going to talk about a little later. That the predictions for people visiting Galaxy's Edge.
Yes, let's talk about that. That's going to be
That's
a
a good
huge-
lead-in.
According to Blue Loop, okay, experts predict enormous crowds, swamped parking lots, and 10-hour lines for opening day of Galaxy's Edge, and they're talking about Disneyland, which is in California. The prediction is 200,000 guests are going to try to go to Disneyland for the debut of this. So this is one of the people talking about how they came to that number. The number is based on what I believe is the actual interest. That's just how many people I expect to descend on the resort on the first opening day. So what that sort of means is he and people are expecting that many people to show up. It's just a matter of is that how many people are going to come in. But in terms of lines that are already there, plus that many people, that's where the 10-hour line idea comes from of just standard traffic.
Mind-blowing
It's
stat.
a small city. It's just like a whole small city just
Right.
came to your
Right. And
park.
I mean, the Star Wars is, I believe, the biggest fandom in the world. So to open a park for it, you're going to get everybody from all over the world.
Right.
And probably day 2 is going to be just as bad.
Probably it'll be like for a year. It'll be like that.
Right.
I'm sure.
And I think a lot of people will think, oh, well, we won't go opening day, but we'll go we'll
Yeah.
go next week,
go
and
next
it'll be fine,
week, or-
which
yeah.
is what a lot of other people think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
another, and what they were talking about in the article I read was that there's already stuff with fast passes and those types of things that they're going to almost schedule times when people can come into Galaxy's Edge. You come here, you go to these things, and then you head on out.
That links directly to what we heard Bob Iger say in his end of the year
Yes.
conference call about e-ticket events and how they're going to have to limit the number of people just for safety.
yes.
Simply for safety. You have that many people in one area. First of all,
If there's
people sometimes can't behave themselves.
What?
And if you have too many, some people don't behave themselves.
Really?
And you have to have.
People are awful sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
And if you have lots of people,
What?
It's super, super dangerous. But also, it could be a target. It could be a.
That's very true.
Which is scary. And I'm sure Disney wants that. That's the last thing that they want. They want to have some sort of threat.
Mm-hmm.
So, being able to limit it for safety
Right.
is probably a huge concern.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why they put capacities in buildings and things like that. Yeah, I mean you also have the element of if there was some sort of like fire or some sort of scare,
Yes.
Yeah.
and you get people going crazy and trampling. If you got like 100 people running at you and
Right.
you're trying to go, the
You
other
don't
way,
think, you just continue to do it too.
Yes.
You have to. They have to think about so many things. It's insane how many things they have to factor in for these parks.
You'd have an ulcer if you were in charge of any sort of security concerns for this event.
Oh.
You wouldn't. You would be demanding more pay right now. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna be a security guy there. Pfft, well, I better be getting paid double.
Yeah, in summer of 2019, I'm gonna need at least a $12 raise.
I do have a question though. You said there's a Disney World over in California.
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
Is it coming to the Florida one or no?
Yes, in the winter of 2019.
Okay,
But this, since Disneyland's is so much sooner, that's why they're already trying to predict this one first. I happen to believe Orlando is going to be crazier.
Crazier?
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
There's SeaWorld, there's
People already
Universal.
gonna be there.
There's all these things already down there.
Yeah.
Where Disneyland is kind of its own thing there. At Disney World down, well, it's going to be in, Hollywood Studios is
Yeah,
where the
Hollywood
other one's going to
Studios.
be. So yeah, I mean, Hollywood Studios is maybe out of the big four, like the fourth most popular
Yeah, I would say
one.
right now, and that's the whole. Yeah, that's what they're hoping to do with Toy Story Land and with Star Wars Land. They're going to turn it into the place.
Well,
that
it's
people want.
probably going to be for at least a year number one.
Yes, it will.
It's going to just, and you have to think each one of those entities, you got Animal Kingdom, Epcot,
Magic
Kingdom, and then Hollywood Studios. You're going to have to think they all work kind of at their own pace.
Yeah.
That they're going to have to start just chucking people into Hollywood Studios more and more just to build up for this because
Yeah.
it's going to be a huge change.
Yeah.
Hollywood Studios is this place you go. You see the
Indiana
Jones.
Jones.
You do the Tower of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
You do. There's some fun stuff. You see the car show, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
You can go to
and
Pizza
then
Planet if you want.
it's kind of more leisurely. And
Yeah.
then you're going to get trampled by 200,000 people trying to get past everybody and go to Star Wars Land. That's what's going to happen. It is.
Without knowing new numbers, I was told years ago that the Orlando one is the more traveled to internationally. So it's possible that the Disneyland in California will be the more domestic attraction, but I do know that Orlando is the international destination for Disney.
Yeah.
Everyone goes there, especially South America. It's perfect position for South America. Tons of people from Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay,
All the
Colombia.
time.
All the time.
Yeah, I
at all
remember
times.
seeing that when we were there. There
Yeah.
was just tons of people from South
It's the
America.
perfect location for them.
And that's Johnny and I are actually going to be down there over this break.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's where you guys
if
are
we
going.
see-
We'll be there.
If we see anything, you guys will be the first to
Yeah, we'll see
get
some
a
construction.
picture.
Just take a blurry picture of like a fence, like real close up, and be like, "Hey, check out this piece of the Millennium Falcon."
yeah.
Or like a blurry, grainy picture of a stormtrooper like walking with his arms swinging and looking back.
It'd be like Bigfoot spotted.
Yeah.
Bigfoot. I mean, stormtrooper spotted at Disney World. Okay,
I'll go over our last one if unless we have another.
Well, we have a couple things
We do have a couple
to
of
go
things.
over. I want to go to this week in Star Wars history.
Brought to you by the Battlefront
The Battlefront on Facebook. Go follow them.
and our friend
Daniel.
Daniel. Thanks,
Uh,
Daniel.
Yes, thank you so much. He's a great supporter of this, and it comes straight from him every week. Tuesday, December 4th, 2009, the 8th episode of the Clone Wars second season was released called Brain Invaders. This is the zombie episode with the worms that go into your nose.
Oh.
I like that. I like the
Scary
idea of
stuff.
bringing in zombies. There's two different zombies.
Star Trek movie with the earbugs.
It basically is.
What was that called? I'm blanking. But yeah,
with
keep
Wrath
going.
of Khan.
What, it was Wrath of Khan?
It was Wrath of Khan.
Huh.
I'm not as
Thursday.
well-versed as you are. my
Thursday,
friend.
December 6th, 2004, Knights of the Old Republic 2 was released on Xbox, Johnny.
Knights of the Republic 2.
Yes, that was a big day for you.
That was a big day for me. I do remember it coming out and being like, we have to get it.
Did you get it right away?
We got that Christmas. So
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a perfect time for a game like that to
I was
come
going to
out.
say, if it was a Christmas gift, you have many brothers. The
They
audience
all
doesn't. Did they all want to play?
they all
immediately?
played it. Yeah.
Did you get to-
I did. I was
Now-
last to get to play
Ah,
it. But I got to. I watched.
I was going to say, you have a younger brother. Why wasn't he the last to play?
Well, I guess he
He's
was the
stronger than you.
last to play it.
But he didn't matter so much that you didn't even factor him
Didn't
in
factor him
at
in.
being last. And then Saturday, December 7th, 2009, the novel Darth Bane Dynasty of Evil was published. I love that book.
Oh
You've talked about it many a time,
that's a
and we've
good one.
discussed it many a time.
Hopefully, some of those types of themes come back into canon with Darth Bane.
I
But
would love to, in the future, see the exploration of many more evil characters.
yes, speaking of exploration of an evil character, Vader Dark Visions comic book series was announced. It's going to follow the darkest character in the galaxy. They're talking about being Darth Vader, and the way that they put it, Star Wars said, it takes them where the mysterious anti-hero known as Darth Vader can be someone's greatest fear and even someone's greatest hope. That's such a strange sentence to me.
It is. I agree. I'm
Remember-
not sure where they're going.
I got when I was on vacation in Quebec. I got Tyler a French version
Dark Vader.
where they called him Dark Vader,
Yeah,
the French version of the Vader comic.
right. But
That's awesome.
why anti-hero? I've
Probably-
never seen him as an anti-hero.
I'm assuming they're referencing him being Anakin. That's the only thing I can think of.
I saw one possible explanation from someone on Twitter that was debating this, and they said he serves the Empire
Yeah.
because he believes in it somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
And the Empire just really is a representation of order.
Right.
So some places in the galaxy are in chaos and are ravaged by pirates. You know, we see this with THRAWN and the THRAWN books, how THRAWN
Big
is
time.
just really interested in people not suffering and there being order, so there can be a balance. It's possible that they'll try and like weave Vader into this kind of morality. Do I think that's a good idea? Not
No,
really.
I don't.
I don't think that's interesting. I think it's more interesting that he's a scary guy, scary monster.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, we haven't really seen it be attempted with him, so maybe we'll see. I'd rather see how they do it before.
Before we just write it off. You're right.
Yeah.
Well,
now,
I'm-
what about
I'm
this
already-
image they released?
I'm already
though?
writing it off because he's riding
He's
a horse
riding
with
a
horns.
horse. What do we think about this? I don't like it. Oh, first of all, not because of the horse, but because of the shield. He's holding a physical shield. It's not like a force field shield, like a Star Wars-y thing. It's a circle
Yeah.
with just the Empire's logo on it.
Yeah, man.
What, like a medieval shield?
Yes.
Yeah,
What?
dude.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at,
He's
man.
All right,
like
maybe disregard what I said.
all right, him riding the horse, as Calhoun said off mic. Where are the other three horsemen? Because he's obvious the angel of death or whatever.
He's one of the four horsemen.
Yeah,
of the,
one of the four. I
There's-
forget
there's
what they are.
Well, there's death. famine,
Disease
war,
and disease.
and disease.
What would he
Pestilence.
be?
Pestilence, yes.
Would he be death or would he be
Yes.
war?
He would be death.
He'd be pestilence.
Who would be pestilence?
Sheev Palpatine.
Sheev Palpatine.
Okay, who would be disease? Oh, it'd be those worms we just talked
Wait,
about.
no,
that
that
went into
is
people's
pestilence.
brains.
There is no disease. There's only pestilence.
And then war would be THRAWN.
where would be thrown?
Yeah,
Where THRAWN
No.
goes, war comes.
sure. Eh, meow.
Sure.
Okay,
Here's the other quip I have.
yeah.
If you see the full bleed page, it is Vader on that weird horse thing with horns. But below that, you see that horse jumping over a shark.
Oh, I see.
Do you want to talk about our last news story there?
I do. Let me pull it up real quick.
I can't wait to see how he uses that shield. I hope it's made out of vibranium.
I hope it's to block rebel arrows.
Our arrows will blot out the sun.
I don't care.
My shield also blots out the sun.
I have a lightsaber. The final news story we have is the Grammy nominations for John Powell and John Williams. Well deserved.
We love you, John.
Let me read specifically what they've been nominated for, and then let's discuss. John Williams was nominated for Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media. And this award goes to composers for an original score created specifically for, or as a companion to, a current legitimate motion picture, television show, series, or video game. And it says other visual media, so I presume web series are included. But he was nominated for his score of, The Last Jedi. And John Powell, who he collaborated with on Solo, was nominated for Best Instrumental Composition, a Composer's Award for an original composition, not adaptation, first released during the eligibility year, single tracks only. Oh boy.
It loses
I love how,
some of its luster
It
when you
does.
read the fine print of every single award.
because it has to be like a lawyer wrote it. But John Powell, was nominated in short for Mine Mission, which is a original song he wrote for Solo, with John Williams, of course.
So John Williams is like,
Congratulations.
man, I need to buy a bigger shelf for all my Grammys.
And
Stop-
Oscars.
Just stop
Oh, boy.
giving them to me already.
We need to teach John Williams to sing and act on stage.
EGOT. He's gotta
get
get-
that EGOT. Get
Yeah.
that EGOT. Go for that EGOT, John.
You're not gonna get it before Donald Glover, though.
Do you know if John has an Emmy? Because he could probably get one if he did it for if he made a song
He could
for
probably
TV.
get one just by asking, hey,
You're
can
right.
I trade
You know, I bet
one of
you-
my Grammys for one of your Emmys?
Dude, I bet you he did get one for the news when he did the news intro.
Oh.
And for the Olympics.
And for the
You're right.
Olympics, yeah.
So he probably already has an Emmy.
He's
You
so
go-
close.
John, you are an icon.
just
You
make
are-
one for a musical,
Yeah, if
real
he
quick.
could get a Tony.
real quick.
Man. What else can he get? Let's name all the things he could
He
get.
could get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes,
for
that's-
just being
that's-
so peaceful.
That's for the EGOT
EGOT.
or the EGOTten.
Egotten. Oh, he egotten and egotten.
Oh boy.
Nope.
I feel like we're getting a little loopy here. At the end
Right.
of the
So
show.
let's move out because we need to save up our energy for this break we're about to have.
Yes.
But I asked people the question because I honestly did want to see if anyone was actually going to buy one of the parkas. I did the whole heart for yes, angry face for no. It got 97 no's, 23 yeses. I don't know if those people were just saying yes because they would love to, or that people actually did it.
Hey, fans, if you got one of those parkas, or if one of your friends did, take a picture of it, send it to us on Twitter at Chatter Squadron. I'm
Anywhere.
on there. I'll like it. I'll retweet it, and I'll say you're my favorite.
Kevin Lute says, I live in Florida. Too pricey to just hang in my closet. Eddie Vega says, if Harrison Ford wore it, maybe. It's true. $500 is a pretty pricey thing. Oh, Anthony Gollifer says, people who pre-order Fallout 76 would.
Oh,
There's a lot of shade being thrown to Fallout
I
76.
don't understand the significance between those two. Just like buying
it's
something
like
without
buying,
knowing it.
Yeah, buying something on the basis of it just being name brand.
Just because. Okay. Let's just keep going.
Alden Cranford says, heck to thine yes.
I like his enthusiasm.
Oh, you weren't going to complete that?
He didn't want it.
Hectovine.
He got too cringy at the end.
Yeah.
Mark Jones, I'll do a couple more. Mark Jones says half that maybe, but not 500.
$500 is so much money for a coat in general.
And then I'll end with this, which was, we echoed this. Jeff Henson says, sold out in 3 minutes and now on eBay for $1,200. Yeah, no thanks. I'll put it out there. I think they should make more of these types of things, though. I think they should make more of these types of like members only. Like you get
Scarcity, yeah.
Right.
You get it if you know what what it is or whatever it might be. Because I love coats, and I would love for there to be some more like reasonable priced thing like that, or just more reoccurring specials like this.
Right. It reminds me of something that I really wanted to get a long time ago. In a movie Drive, Ryan Gosling wears a jacket that has a scorpion on the back. And for a while, there were some people selling replicas of that jacket, but the problem was it was $270, but it was very poor quality.
Ryan Gosling and his jackets in movies. His jacket in Blade Runner.
Oh, it's so cool.
So cool.
So cool.
You can buy that one too. I was considering it. It was like $150.
You'd look so cool. You'd get
Right?
this duster.
Right?
But then again, how, where,
And
what would you
I
wear
would
it
just
with?
walk around being like, am I human? Am I not? You know? Right? I gotta find this guy's
It
daughter.
comes with the jacket.
Harrison Ford is being grumpy to me.
I gotta say, I thought most of what Lando wore in Solo, I wanted. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
man.
Yes.
I don't know if I could wear a cape, but the other stuff he was wearing, I was like, okay. Yeah.
His yellow outfit was on point.
Even some of what Han Solo's character was wearing, I was like, yikes, that looks cool.
Kira looked awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna go with Chewbacca though. All right, so that is the news for this week. Remember, we're going to be having a bit of a hiatus until January 1st. If you want to be on the tiny chair of tiny victories, you can give us a rating or review on iTunes, or give us a comment on our YouTube channel on one of our videos. If you're clever, you might be on it. So yeah, you're welcome for this news.
We're doomed.